Hello everybody, it's Jack from Cultaholic Wrestling, and what's that sound? It's only the biggest party of the summer. Let's take a look at everything that happened at WWE SummerSlam 2024. After a 3-hour pre-show with no matches, we get Jelly Roll singing God Bless America, and then Triple H opens the show and welcomes us to SummerSlam before throwing back to Jelly Roll, who performs Liar with his band in the ring, and they're all very excited. Then The Miz is in the stands, obviously the host of SummerSlam, and he also welcomes us to the show, before finally we get our first match of the night. And that is Liv Morgan defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. It's worth mentioning that during Rhea's entrance, we get the debut of Ref Cam. This is truly the future that we are living in. Lots of stalling from Liv Morgan to start, rolling in and out of the ring to avoid the challenger, but Ripley eventually catches her and starts to dish out punishment. After some grandstanding on the outside, Rhea then hits the Riptide into the top turnbuckle, goes for the second one in the middle of the ring, but Liv manages to slip out and avoid it. Rhea gets sent into the corner and sells her shoulder a lot, even telling the referee that she thinks it's dislocated. She speaks to Dom on the outside, but Liv goes after her and hits a dropkick into the ring steps. Liv takes advantage of the injury for a while, working the arm. Then she hits a dive to the outside, but Rhea moves and Dom takes it instead, possibly even pushing Ripley to safety. Rhea rams herself against the announce table to pop her arm back in, and then she gets back in the ring and takes it to that dastardly Liv Morgan. But Liv counters Riptide with a DDT, but Rhea kicks out just in time, then locks in the Prism Trap, but the arm is giving her some trouble, and the champ is able to roll out of it and break the hold. They fight for a long time over an arm bar, but Rhea eventually powers out with a slam for 2, so Liv gets desperate and heads to the outside and grabs the timekeeper's chair. But back in the ring, Rhea is able to kick the chair away from Liv and hits the Riptide. She then thinks about using the chair on Liv because she hates her so much, but Dominik Mysterio takes it away, and Rhea's really angry at him, but Dom correctly points out that she can't win the title this way. Rhea eventually agrees with Dom, but as they're talking, Liv kicks her into Dom, sending him off the apron. Rhea turns back round, and Liv hits her with Oblivion for a very near fall. Ooh. And now this is where things get juicy. Dom slides the chair into the ring and argues with the referee, which allows Liv to hit a second Oblivion onto the chair and pin Rhea Ripley to retain the title. We see Dom smiling as he leaves the ringside area, and then just to make things more clear, him and Liv have a big old kiss on the ramp, and Rhea looks on horrified and angry, and oh, I can't believe it. Liv Morgan is still the champion, and Dom has turned on Rhea. Backstage, a furious Damian Priest asks the rest of the Judgment Day where Dom is, but they don't know. He suspiciously demands to know if Finn Balor knew what Dom was planning, and even grabs Finn by the collar, but Finn says, of course I didn't know, and they have a tense stare down. The rest of the lads leave to find Dom, and Priest is left stewing on his own. Has he lost focus, perhaps, before his big title match later on? The next bout is Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami beat Bron last time, but can he do it again? Breakker goes for an instant spear at the bell, but Sami avoids it, and Bron hits the ring post hard. A big dive to the outside from Sami is followed by a haluva kick attempt back in the ring, but this time it's Bron who gets out of the way. Breakker takes control with a big clothesline, and later on a huge step-up Frankensteiner, but it only gets 2, but it looks very nice. Bron talks some trash to Sami and tells him to quit, but obviously Sami's not going to do that and starts slapping Bron in the face and lands a big clothesline of his own. Bron takes a little bit of a scary landing off a back suplex attempt. I think Breakker was maybe meant to flip out and land on his feet, but thankfully he seems to be okay, and Sami hits a big old blue thunder bomb, but it only gets 2. Zayn sets up for the haluva kick again, but Bron meets him in the middle of the ring with a thunderous spear. He pulls the straps down, hits the ropes twice, and hits a second big spear. 1, 2, 3, and that is an emphatic victory for Bron Breakker, and he is, of course, now the new IC champion. In the crowd, we see that Stephanie McMahon's there, and she's very happy to be at SummerSlam. I'm glad she managed to get a ticket. Next up, Logan Paul comes out to defend his US title and reveals his pal, Machine Gun Kelly, who was disguised as a security guard. LA Knight arrives backstage in the Prime truck that he stole on SmackDown and breaks one of the windows with a pipe, or he tries to break it, but it just kind of bounces off. But luckily the window breaks at the second time of asking, and he tells the camera he's going to become the new US champion, with everybody saying, LA Knight, yeah. Logan jumps Knight before the bell, and they brawl on the outside, where the challenger turns the tables and sends Logan into the barricade, and then into the hydration station, and he taunts Logan's guys in the front row, his entourage. Logan spits Prime into Knight's face and retakes control of the brawl. He clears the announce table, but Knight bounces his head into it repeatedly before hitting a nasty neckbreaker onto the surface of the table. Finally, they get into the ring and the match officially begins with Knight in control. Logan fights back, so the crowd chant F you Logan, and he hits the split leg drop, but LA kicks out at 1. Logan mocks his challenger's catchphrase, but gets hit with a big power slam for 2, and now Knight makes his comeback with a running knee in the corner, followed by a side effect and a top rope elbow drop, but Logan kicks out. Knight gets sent to the outside, where Logan hits a huge, twisting springboard moonsault. It's very impressive, but the crowd chant, you still suck. Knight avoids the big right hand from Logan, but Logan avoids the BFT and then hits the big right, but LA Knight just kicks out in time. Knight avoids the frog splash, but Logan avoids another BFT by holding onto the ropes, and he heads up top. Knight chases him, springing up to the top rope in a single bound and nailing a very scary superplex, but again it only gets 2. Logan goes to get the brass knuckles from his pals, but Knight hits a flying baseball slide to cut him off before dragging a couple of Logan's entourage over the barricade to stomp them out. Logan saves them and retakes control of the match and gets handed a set of brass knuckles on a chain by Machine Gun Kelly. Oh, what a sneaky man. Logan lands a cheap shot on Knight out of the view of the ref with the brass knuckles, and he goes for the buckshot lariat, but Knight catches the lariat and counters with a quick BFT, 1, 2, 3, and LA Knight is the new United States champion. The next match is Bayley defending the WWE Women's title against Nia Jax. Bayley tries to work the arm early on, but Nia catches her with a Samoan drop and dominates the early stages, even hitting a stink face. I sounded really buzzing about that one. Oh, a stink face. Bayley fights back with a back suplex and manages to avoid a leg drop on the apron before hitting a step-up clothesline off the ring steps. Bayley catches Nia with a guillotine, which Cole points out she beat Nia with in 2015 in their NXT days. Nice. Nia survives this time though and retakes control of the match, but she misses a second leg drop attempt, this time from the middle rope. The Bayley to belly gets a 2 count, but Nia then avoids the rose plant and hits a big uranagi. She goes up for the annihilator and gets it, but Bayley kicks out. I think that's the first time that move's been kicked out of, and Nia can't believe it. Nia gets sent to the outside, but she catches a dive from Bayley and hits a big Samoan drop on the outside. She goes for another annihilator, but Bayley cuts her off and walks her out of the corner on her shoulders for a crowd-popping powerbomb. Bayley then goes up top, gets a near fall off the elbow drop, and both women are down. But now it's Tiffy time. Yes, Miss Money in the Bank's music hits, and here comes Tiffany Stratton to cash in, but before she can do so, Bayley knocks her off the apron. Bayley then charges at Nia, but gets hit with a big pair of power bombs and an annihilator and another annihilator. 1, 2, 3, and Nia Jax is the new WWE Women's Champion. Nia celebrates with her new belt and with Tiffany Stratton, who I guess will claim that she was never going to cash in. She just wanted to distract Bayley for Nia to win. Maybe it was their plan all along. I don't really know, but you know that heading forwards, Tiffany's going to be watching Nia and waiting to cash in. Next up, it's CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, with, of course, Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. There's lots of bickering at the start, and Drew and Punk brawl at the bell. Punk beats Drew down in the corner, and Rollins counts to 5 before having to actually drag Punk away. Drew then does the same to Punk, and again he refuses to break the count, and Seth argues with both guys early on. They fight into the timekeeper's area and back to ringside while Seth lounges in the corner like Eddie Guerrero. Seth then ties his shoes while Punk rams Drew's head repeatedly into the ring steps, but Drew gets revenge, swinging Punk into the side of the announce table and slingshotting him under the ring apron up into the metal beam under the ring, the part of the ring, the steel bar, Drew continues to dominate back in the ring, but takes issue with Seth being slow to make pinfall counts, which is true, he is being quite slow. Drew goes to get a chair and tries to convince Seth to let him use it, and Seth turns a blind eye, only to rush back and grab the chair from Drew. So he's fine with them doing some damage to each other, but the chair's too far now. I don't really understand. Drew shoves Seth, who goes to hit him with the chair. Drew ducks, and Seth almost hits Punk, but stops himself short. Seth then throws the chair out of the ring, and while his back's turned, Punk rolls up Drew for a visual 3, and then when Seth finally makes the count, Drew kicks out in time. Drew pulls out the bracelet to taunt Punk, who starts to make his comeback and hits the repeated running knees in the corner. His top rope elbow drop only gets 2, but then Punk locks in the Anaconda Vice, but then he breaks it to take the bracelet off Drew's wrist. Punk then turns into a Claymore, but it only gets 2. Punk then counters the Future Shock and goes for the go to sleep, but then realizes that Seth has picked up the bracelet and is wearing it, and then he drops Drew and abandons another signature move of his. Punk is like, Seth, what the hell are you doing with my bracelet? And argues with him, and Seth's like, whoa, I was just getting it off the canvas. Drew clobbers Punk while he's arguing with Seth, and the referee spills to the outside. Punk hits the go to sleep and makes the cover, but Rollins is slow to get back in the ring, and Drew again kicks out just in time of a delayed pinfall attempt. Punk says, Seth, you're about as good a referee as you are a wrestler. Oh my. They get in each other's face, and Seth tells Punk that nobody wants him here in WWE. It's not always about you. Punk scoops up Seth and hits the go to sleep. He then retrieves his bracelet, but turns into a low blow from Drew and a Claymore. Seth by this point has recovered. He crawls over and makes the slow 3 count, and Drew McIntyre beats CM Punk. Oh, he also gets the bracelet back after the bell as well and leaves all evil-like. And I'm not sure if I enjoyed the story here. I agree that Drew needed the win after Punk has screwed him so many times, but I don't think I think he looked very lucky. He, got visually pinned twice. He was fortunate that Punk kept breaking his signature moves to go after the bracelet. Yeah, I'm not sure about the story that they told here. Backstage, Priest apologizes to Finn for his behavior earlier on. The Judgment Day still can't find Dominik Mysterio. It's implied that he's left with Liv Morgan. Balor also apologizes to Priest as well and says, hey, if you need any help out there, just let me know. And that match is next. Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. And during Gunther's entrance, we see the Legends box up in the crowd. The Steiners are there, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, who was on the kickoff show as well, and DDP. Who did you spot? It's a fun little game, isn't it? Gunther charges at Priest to start the match, who meets him with a huge right hand, and heavy strikes would be quite a theme of this bout. Priest even goes for an early South of Heaven, but Gunther avoids it, and they head to the outside, where Gunther takes control for a bit. But then back in the ring, it's Priest with the heavy strikes once again, and that nice spinny kick that he sometimes does. Gunther gets a near fall off a butterfly suplex, but Priest gets one of his own from a broken arrow. Gunther goes to the chops, of course, but Priest answers back with heavy chops of his own, and Gunther's chest is bleeding. The challenger, though, hits a shotgun dropkick and the big powerbomb, but Priest kicks out. We get more strike exchanges and a South of Heaven from Damian Priest, but Gunther survives. He then comes back and chains a few big moves together, culminating in a huge lariat, but again, it only gets 2. Gunther, though, is on top now and hits a few more thunderous chops to Priest, who just can't get back to his feet, but he has Finn Balor at ringside to cheer his stablemate on. Hooray! It's very wholesome, but it doesn't quite work as Gunther continues to batter Priest before booting Finn's head in between the ring ropes. Now, this angers Damian, who fires up and hits a couple of huge lariats to Gunther. He also hits the Razor's Edge and the South of Heaven. Gunther tries to roll out of the ring, but Priest catches him and makes the cover. 1, 2, and then Finn Balor puts Gunther's leg on the ropes. What? Priest goes to confront Finn, but Gunther grabs him from behind and applies a sleeper hold and chokes him out with Balor watching on. Priest's fading, he's fading, but he comes alive and he's fighting back, and he rolls backwards into a pinning predicament, but Gunther kicks out at 2. Rather than press the advantage, Priest goes straight after Finn, grabbing him by the throat through the ropes, but this allows Gunther to once again grab Damian and hit the big power bomb before reapplying the choke. Priest fades, he goes unconscious, and Gunther is the new World Heavyweight Champion, which is great news for him. But what does this mean for the Judgment Day, guys? Before the main event, the Awesome Truth are here to announce the attendance number, but once they've done that, they are interrupted by A-Town Down Under, who insult the hometown crowd. They say, the NFL team sucks, everyone looks like Jelly Roll, who is, by the way, the only person to make music worse than R-Truth. Truth gets confused and thinks that Theory and Waller are the Rock and Roll Express, and this distracts the heels while Jelly Roll gets in the ring with a steel chair. Miz and Truth attack and set the heels up for a pair of chair shots from Jelly Roll, who then hits Theory with one of the best chokeslams I've ever seen. The three of them then do like a triple 5-knuckle shuffle, so a 15-knuckle shuffle on theory, and it's a big happy ending to this segment. Once again, Waller kind of rolling out of there, leaving Theory to take the brunt of the attack. Our main event is next, and it's Cody Rhodes defending the WWE title against Solo Sikoa. And by the way, it's Bloodline rules. Cody gets a special entrance all the way from his bus. He takes Pharaoh with him for a bit, and who should he bump into on the way? But Arn Anderson. Arn cuts a bit of a mini promo here and says, hey Cody, your friends may have been taken out, but you've still got a couple on their way. Cody passes off Pharaoh, the dog, he gets his ring jacket on, and the Nightmare mask, huge pop for the mask as well, and he gets his big entrance, huge reception, and all the rest of it. The match begins, and Cody can't knock Solo down with a shoulder block early on, but Solo does take the champ off his feet, and Cody looks worried. Cody goes for the drop-down uppercut, but Solo blocks it, and then Solo goes for the hip attack, and Cody is forced to bail outside for a breather. Solo continues to dominate, but Cody gets the disaster kick on the apron, followed by a big dive to the outside. But back in the ring, the challenger is the one pressing the advantage. Cody, though, avoids the Samoan spike and hits the Cody cutter before taking Solo outside and ramming him into the prime cart. Back in the ring, he gets the drop-down right hand this time and the bionic elbow, but Solo counters a disaster kick with a sit-out powerbomb for 2. Cody goes for the pedigree, but Solo gets out of it, and Cody has to duck a Samoan spike, which almost hits the referee, but Solo manages to stop short, and doesn't let this distract him really, hitting a big Uranagi for another near fall. Cody gets caught in the Tree of Woe position for a while, which leads to a running diving headbutt from Solo, and a second one, but Cody sits up to avoid a third. He fights back into the match and hits a big superplex, then he wins a strike exchange, but then Solo catches the Cody cutter and sets up for the crossroads. Cody reverses it though and hits the crossroads of his own. But this is the point where the interference begins because Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa run in and beat Cody down. Remember, Bloodline rules. Solo makes the cover, but Cody kicks out. And now here comes one of the friends on mentioned, presumably, but also like one of the ones that was taken out. But he's back, I guess. It's Kevin Owens. He attacks the heels, but the numbers game is too much. But then here comes Randy Orton. Randy's not the most urgent I've ever seen him. He's jogging down the ramp, he's high-fiving fans. Hurry up, Randy! Finally, he makes it to the ring and hits the RKO on Tanga Loa. Kevin hits the stunner on Tama Tonga, and it looks like Cody's about to win. He hits the crossroads on Solo, 1-2, but Solo kicks out. Orton and Owens brawl with Tama and Tanga into the crowd, and off they go, leaving Cody and Solo alone in the ring. Cody brings in a set of ring steps and hits Solo, and then hits him a second time. He charges for a third blow with the steps, but Solo spears him and gets a near fall. Solo then goes for a step-assisted hip attack in the corner, but Cody moves and Solo crashes into the steps. Cody hits the crossroads and a second. He goes for a third, but here's Jacob Fatu to take him out. Fatu hits his lovely step-up corkscrew thing and his lovely step-up moonsault as well and drags Solo on top of Cody. 1-2, but the champion clings on again. Jacob now sets Cody up on the announce table and heads up top with a massive splash all the way through the table on the outside. Back in the ring, Solo hits a splash on Cody, and it really felt at this point like Cody was about to lose the belt, but he kicks out just in time. Solo sets up for the Samoan spike, but Cody collapses in a bit of lucky timing for the champion. He then gets the big Cody cutter out of the corner, and both men are down, and here comes the head of the table. That's right, as many of us speculated, but no one really knew for certain, Roman Reigns returns to a massive reception. He gets in the ring, Superman punch to Solo and the spear, and he stares at Cody as if to say, hey, finish the job, man, I've got no beef with you anymore. Roman walks up the ramp while Cody hits a final crossroads on Solo Sikoa to retain the WWE Championship. Roman looks kind of neutral on the ramp. I don't know whether his beef with Cody really is over or if it's just for the time being while he deals with Solo, but Cody looks a bit shocked but celebrates anyway, and that's how SummerSlam goes off the air. Roman Reigns is back. Thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic. Thank you very much as well to Joel and Owen for editing this video, and please leave your thoughts and opinions in that comment section down below. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you very soon.